Welcome to the Detailing Show. Thanks for joining us for this episode. If this is your first time with us, be sure to subscribe and tick that bell notification icon so you can stay up to date with what we're doing here at Tranquility Based Detailing. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Immaculate Reflection's wax. We are going to check out what not to do with fallout remover. Let's put it that way. We're going to take a look at my top tips for cleaning door shuts and your engine bay. But first, we're going to take a look at Cartec. Check it out. So, Cartec, what can I tell you? They're a Dutch firm, as sort of origin goes. There is a new UK arm of that firm. Their website is cartecretail.co.uk if you do want to check them out. They are, as a firm, as a company, they are a worldwide brand at this point. They deal in a lot of countries to a lot of manufacturers. BMW UK, for example, Ferrari in China. So they're with some big players, so they must be doing something right. To try and spread the name, however, in the UK, they were selling some sample sets, basically as long as you covered postage. So it made it like £5 all in for what you saw in this video. I'll go through them one at a time, and then I'll give my summary, my thoughts at the end. We'll start with the shampoo. The shampoo is called Splash, and you'll see, as you've just seen there, I used a lot. The dilution ratio on it was suggested was 100 to 1. Now, where you bear in mind that the last shampoo I reviewed was Bright Max's Pure Max, which was a dilution of 2000 to 1, you can see that obviously that is a very, very low dilution ratio. I spoke to Cartec on this, sent him a quick message and said, what's the deal? Is this norm? It's possible to use this as a snow foam, and it's actually listed as a snow foam on their website, but it's aimed really at, because it's a high wax content, as a quick maintenance wash type of product, and not really so much at the detailing market side of things. So they said, yeah, it is what it is, but maybe they're going to think about looking at the labeling and dealing with that, because we're kind of expecting more at this point for what we do. The next product I used after that was the wheel cleaner. Now, this one took me by surprise in that when you receive a 200ml sample size of a product, you kind of expect it to be ready to use. I didn't expect it to be the full strength, as yet to be diluted nostril hair burner that it was. This thing was very potent, it was very pungent. As I started to spray it and apply it to this wheel here, the cloud of gas, it was the sort of thing that you could smell, and it kind of, took your breath a little bit. So as a note to you guys, if you're going to be buying this stuff in, it should be diluted down. And in fact, once I diluted it down, still did a great job, but it was far less aggressive on the nostrils as well. But yeah, at the full strength, did a great job of shifting everything that was on there naturally, diluted down, did a good job as well. But it gives you that option of using it at different ratios, which a lot of modern wheel cleaners tend to give you nowadays, as I think that's the right thing for them to do. Once I've done that, with this being a darker color, you guys will know with darker paints, if you apply an iron fallout remover, which you should, it doesn't really show you much of a significant change or that it's working, even if it is. So I applied it on the wheels. The wheels are due their spring clean, let's call it. They've not been done since the other side of winter, so they do need to be brought up to speed. I can tell you with the iron remover, it had slight more of a gel viscosity than a water type of viscosity, so it cleaned for a good amount of time. It cleaned well. I would say 2 hits in this wheel would be where I want it to be, but I'm going to show you the close-ups in a second, which is from 1 hit of the wheel cleaner, 1 hit of the iron remover. You see the odd black fleck on there, so like I said, I think second hit would have taken care of that, no problem. But again, another product that works for them. It does smell like an iron fallout remover, so they're not trying to add anything in terms of scent or that type of additional thing, which is becoming more common with these iron fallout removers nowadays. After that, went on to the wash procedure. This is what battery failure looks like, just there. So that's a lesson for me. The shampoo, in terms of actually in a wash process, you can tell it's laying a little bit of protection down because it changes the water characteristics. Um, Again, I've covered off the dilution part. That's really my only concern with that as a product. After that, went to the the glass cleaner. The glass cleaner, it didn't flash off massively quickly, which when you're outside in heavy, heavy sunshine is a positive. You get certain cleaners that will, um, have an immediate flash time or a quick flash time. This isn't one of those, and it's to its benefit when you are working outside or working in heavy temperatures. I paired it with the Clean Glass Shine, and it did a fantastic job of cleaning up all the glass. So again, another one does a solid job. It's ticking the box there for it. Once I'd done that, went on to, in actual fact, there were two finishing products in the box, in the kit. So they have the gold wax, which I'm using here, and they had a quick detailer. So we'll cover the wax first. It's a very, very fluid product. Needs shaking because you can see it does separate. But as I was applying it, and apologies to Cartec, I ran out of clean applicators on the day, so I had to turn to microfiber cloth. You basically smear it on. It's like a water. It's very similar to Autoglim's extra gloss protection. So it's just a very thin water-like fluid, which makes for application very, very quick. It claims it won't leave any white marks on any of the trim. Tested that, I can vouch for that. But very, very speedy to apply. You can see here, and it flashes off very, very quickly as well, which you can see just on the quarter panel there. So as far as effort involved with this type of product, it is minimal, and I really do mean minimal. Far easier to apply than a paste wax or anything like that. In terms of once it's flashed off, which as you can see is quick as it is, when you actually come to buff it, very, very effortless, no dusting, no powder, anything like that. But it doesn't give you any resistance. There's no drag to removing it. So when you do come to that removal process, speed is the main sort of selling point for this product. The finish, it's not the sharpest. It is clean, it is, sort of a glossy type of product, but I'm kind of again used to, I mean, if you consider the last wax that I'd used was an out-and-out show wax, it didn't provide that type of finish. But again, it's not a detailing product, it's a valeting product really that they're aiming for. After I'd tried this particular product, the next one for me to have a go of was their quick detailer. Now, this is something that's kind of in translation a little bit. The quick detailer is called a glaze. It's not a glaze in the sense that it's going to fill or add anything to it in that respect. It is a quick detailer out and out, but it claims that it will offer no wax holograms. So I thought I'd test that in terms of applying it to a hot panel, direct sunlight, direct sunshine. And it worked. It worked well in terms of what it was claiming, what it said it would do. The beading, this is for gold wax here. You can see it's left some protections, not the strongest beading we've seen. But pretty much that's all I can tell you about the range in terms of the individual products that I used. In summary, what can I tell you? I think when you try these, you need to bear in mind that they're aimed at a trade, at a valeter market. So the finishing products, they lack the finesse, they lack that sort of polished detail that we come to expect from detailing products. So they're not, they don't have a perfumed scent, they're not about sort of that, all of those elements of that enjoyable spectrum of detailing. What they are all geared towards doing is speed, effective, efficient job, and they all nail it in that respect. So in terms of the bits I can and can't recommend, can I recommend the wax and the quick detailer? Yes, if what you need is volume, speed, and ease of use. Can I recommend the other products, what I would like to refer to as the utility products? Yes, they are potent, pungent, dilutable, and they all did a great job. So if you're a valeter, you're in the trade, you're looking for a new angle, a new avenue that's maybe not an Auto Smart or Auto Glim trade range, give Cartec a look in. I think a lot of the products will work well for you. If you're after an out-and-out detailer's experience, then maybe the finishing products won't be for you. Links are below. Check them out. So, hope you enjoyed that look at Cartec. The link's below if you want to check them out. just have a look in the description below. On to the next part. And before we go to the next part, I wanted to touch base with you guys on a topic, not even a topic, a point, which is when I see reviews written nowadays, not in all of them, but it comes up quite a lot. This wax punches way above its price point, or this wax punches way above its weight. I kind of get what people are saying, but I disagree wholeheartedly with really the execution of that as a sentence and as a saying and as a method of measuring waxes. Really, at a point when waxing was a cheaper, rudimentary thing, and I'm going back a few decades, really before my time, I understand that, when these boutique waxes came along and these guys that were able to produce a wax that was nice to use and left a crisp finish, you had to pay a premium for that. But now, with the modern explosion of the home brewer and these people that are willing to go to lengths of testing and such dedication to refine the product they're wanting to put to market, that I think no longer is this a saying that's applicable. I think there are a lot of things that can go into a wax that define the cost, and sure, experience is one of them, but ease of use and a good finish should come as standard if you've got your wax to a point of really putting it to market. So all that's really left is paying for the experience of that person, the actual presentation of the wax. So, naturally a glass jar is going to cost more than a plastic pot. So there's things really, ingredients, another one, that will always affect the cost. But if a wax is £20 and does a great job, I wouldn't describe it as punching above its weight or punching above its price point. I'd merely say that it's a nice wax at a bargain price. With that in mind, take a look at this. This is from Immaculate Reflection. They produce a fantastic smelling range of waxes. If you have a look in the link below, you see exactly what I mean. On this occasion, I just happened to try the one that was scented as Parma Violet. Check it out. Woohoo! Another wax review. You guys know I love waxing. You know I love reviewing waxes. And this one is something which I quite enjoy in terms of when I announced or put the picture up that I had a wax from Immaculate Reflection, that a few of you guys came back and said to me, I've not heard of them. And that's a good thing, and we can change it, and we should change it. The links will be below for them. Immaculate Reflection is Mark. He produces a range of waxes, which they're all the same wax. They're a soft wax, but they're all different scents based on classic sweetie shop flavors. So when I spoke to him about purchasing one of his waxes, he said, what scent's for you? And for me, I went for the Parma Violets one because I love me some Parma Violets. And I have to say the smell did not disappoint. It ticked that box massively. And I think if you're going to pin your range on a theme that is that type, you need to nail the scents. And if you have a look through the other scents that he produces, they all sound like they would smell fantastic. And based on what I'd experienced with this one, I would say they probably will. The product itself comes in a 100ml plastic pot. The labeling on it is really eye-catching. It's really nice. The wax itself is very soft and very oily. So loading the applicator is very straightforward, and applying it to the paint is a breeze. It's of a sort of application, if you've tried it, a Victoria Wax Concourse. So it's oily. It doesn't really seem to cure. So when it came to buffing, you see I'm using a 2-towel method here. So that's a shorter pile, in this case a Wowo towel, to break the back of the wax, to kind of take off the weight of what's there. And then I'm using the Carpro Boa here to buff to a finish. I really, really like this one. It did a couple of things for the paint for me. It darkened it to a point, and it really brought the flake out. I mean, massively so. In terms of when I was applying it, we're on a very hot day, and this is about 23 degrees on the day, and we're in the direct sunlight. So the curing bit took me a little bit by surprise in that it didn't really cure, but I left it, I kept checking it. I think we're around about 18 minutes before I thought, I'm just going to buff this and see how it goes and see if it plays me, any silly games. Maybe I could have left it longer, but sort of that 18-20 minute mark, I thought I'd given it enough. And then around just the quick water test, which is what you're seeing here. And this was after the first coat. And naturally, you guys know I like to put a second coat on where I can. So I went for the second coat, got it all applied, buffed. And then this was really sort of, it's going to cycle through the finish shots and and sort of the flake that it brought out the paint. But all in all, I really, really liked it. I really loved it. The experience, the smell on it was tremendous. The ease of use was there. The ease of removal, the fact you have to use two cloths, not the end of the world. It doesn't make it the easiest to remove, but it's by no stretch a difficult wax to buff off. But if you do not use the double cloth setup, I think you might chase a few wax holograms if you're not careful. But it's, like I say, it's not a difficulty to really do that. The finish felt slick. Like I say, slight darkening effect to this carbon black paint, but it's technically a dark blue. But the main thing, the flake that it brought out of the paint, I thought was tremendous. Went on to testing the water behavior, and it actually beaded really, really well. So again, this is after the second coat, and this is just a run around of the beading. So the beads were round, they were relatively uniform, quite tall. Not the strongest beads, but it again was another thing that it did really, really well. And I was pleasantly surprised with. I was really, really happy with that as a finish as well. All in all, the links below. I'm going to tell you that this is a bargain wax for £20. I want to echo what I said in the car. This is the sort of thing that I enjoy about waxing. It was a pleasurable experience, and it left a really nice finish. And it only cost me 20 quid. And I got the joy of kind of picking through a laundry list of sweets from my childhood. And if you're 30 plus years old, I think you get a kick out of going through their shop and seeing what they actually do have and what is available, and pick the one that appeals to you. You'll not be disappointed. I'd be confident of that. And if you do have any questions before you buy, reach out to Mark. He's reachable on Instagram and other social medias, and he seems a very approachable guy. That's all I can tell you about that one. If you guys have any questions about Immaculate Reflection, shoot them below. I'll be happy to answer them. If not, buy one yourself. Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed that look at Immaculate Reflections wax. The link's below, as I've said, in case you want to look into buying. Hold on, I got something to say. This is Luke. Luke has dirty wheels. Luke's decided that spraying them down with pressurized water to remove the vast majority of surface dirt is just too efficient for his liking, haven't you, mate? He's also decided that wheel cleaners are just too boring. We have a product for Luke. That product is Fallout Remover. That's right, something that's not actually a wheel cleaner, but can be used as such if you want your inner 4-year-old to stand back as you clean your wheels and go, ooh, bright and purple. You should spray a lot of this on your wheel, but make sure that the wheel is really, really dirty and in no way been pre-rinsed with water if you want the purpliest reaction that you can get. Then be sure to film this purple reaction and post it online so all of your friends, mates, and possible brand loyal fans can see just how fantastically pointless but colourful this is as a wheel cleaner. After you've done that, be sure to rinse off all of the purpley goodness and stand back and admire what a wheel cleaner costing 10 or even 20 times less than Fallout Remover could have done, but without the purple shenanigans. But whatever you do, do not grab your camera and zoom in and assess if it is flawlessly clean. Just hope that people will take for granted that it looks shiny from a distance. Do not, after you've zoomed in, rub your finger across patches just to see if there's any remaining dirt, because what you will find is that you have a copious amount of surface dirt that it hasn't removed, for example. Once you've decided that this is the product for you, however, though, you should find other uses that it is equally as pointless and expensive to do. Don't worry, I've gone to the trouble of doing that for you. Did you know, for example, it is really crap at cleaning your sink? Just spray liberally, stand back as nothing happens, and then rinse it away with a lot of that really cheap, it's boring water stuff that we mentioned earlier. Check this out. Who needs Jif? Done. You can also use it as a really, really pointless plant feed. Now, I know what you're thinking, won't this just kill your old man's tree? Yes, it will, but he's going to be on holiday for at least a fortnight, so he won't find out. I was going to suggest using it to toast a birth or a wedding, but do not do that. Use the proper product instead. Hope you enjoyed that look at what not to do with fallout remover. If you guys enjoyed that and you want to see more of the same, let me know. Let me know what topics you'd like me to cover and I'll put those into production for future videos. Before we jump on to the last part, which is my top tips for cleaning your door shuts and your engine bays, I just wanted to share the Team TBD part for this episode, which is I'm going to divide the Cartec kit into a couple of portions and I'm going to send those out to you guys if you answer the question correctly at the top of the comment section below. I do need to stipulate I need you guys to be UK based just for what I am posting. That is a necessity for me. One upcoming participant, or at least an upcoming channel, is SC Detailing. I'm going to put a link there for them. Check them out. It's Sean. We've already spoke, Sean and I, and Sean's going to send me some stuff in my direction for me to try it, and I'm going to send some bits to him. So this is my way of putting Team TBD in action. It's not just with you guys, but it's other YouTubers and UK detailers as well. So check Sean out. He's doing great work. His channel is new. It could do with a few more subscribers. On to the final part. I want to thank you very much for watching the detailing show. Check back again for future videos. Take care. Bye-bye. So, on to the final part of the show. This is how I tackle my door shuts and engine bay. Mine are pretty well kept, so I'll approach these and do these often enough, but I think the tips within really will work for you guys if you get them up to this standard, but equally speaking, if you need to get them there, they will work just the same. If necessary, start with rinsing them. So, get your pressure washer, get all the loose muck off and out of the way. Once you've done that, a good liberal spray with an all-purpose cleaner. I'm using here Autoglanz's Infinite. And then basically agitate that with a brush. You're trying to get into all the tight work, the smaller nooks and crannies first. A step I then follow that up with is always with a mitt. So this is Clin Korea's twisted mitt that I'm showing you here. Does a great job for these purposes because it holds enough water without sort of drenching the insides of the doors. But the mitt is going to deal with the bigger, flatter surfaces. You wouldn't clean all of the outside of your car with a brush, so I don't see why the door shuts should be any different. And then just rinse that all away. That's going to take care of the weight of what's going on. Be sure then to dry it thoroughly. If you do have a blower, a dryer of that sort, use it. In this particular case, it would be an absolute godsend. I don't have one of those, but if you do, use it. Then it's on to dressing. So dressing for me, the one I'm showing you in this video is CarPro Pearl. I've been a big fan, a big advocate of it for a long time. It does a fantastic job on plastics and rubber. So it will basically deal with what you're going to find in your own door shuts. So I'd recommend that as a product for you guys because it leaves a really nice dressed look, but it's not shiny, not greasy, it's not in your face. Once you've been around with a Pearl, you then need to protect the paintwork. So I've used Autoglanz's Smooth Velvet for this purpose because it is fantastic for that. Spray onto the cloth. Again, don't want to be spraying it onto the paintwork direct because we're trying to just manage to not overspray onto bits we've done already. But apply it to the cloth. You can be more controlled in your application. Then wipe, buff everything off. And this is what you should be left with. You should be left with a nice glossy finish on your paint. No dirt, no splashes or anything like that. And nice blackened, darkened trim pieces that aren't greasy, that aren't in your face. Personally, for me, this is the way I want mine to look. If you want the same sort of finish, follow those steps and you'll get there. It takes very little effort and really very little time to get this bit up to speed. Then on to engine bays. As you can see, from a distance, doesn't look too bad. Up close, I've got leaves in the gutter. So take care of the big debris first. I know a lot of videos show pressure washing of the engine bays. I've never been overly comfortable with mine. In terms of like blasting a lot of water in there. I know it won't do it a terrible disservice, but for me, I've always just felt more comfortable with this. So tools of choice, those are called spout brushes. Buy some, they're pennies on eBay. A wheel brush, that's Chem's wheel brush. I've used that for my engine bay for a while. That's Autoglim's wheel brush, which you could also buy something called an Adlaster. They're the same thing. And just a detailing brush, just the same. You may need one or all of those brushes, but I would recommend certainly the spout brushes. I think they're a fantastic little tool for very little outlay. And then it's much of the same. So apply the all-purpose cleaner, agitate it. For me, I've just got, general crust of dust and dirt and whatnot. But then what I do with my engine bay, and I've always felt better doing it this way than drenching it, is I'll have a bucket of water and then just dip my microfiber in, come back to each section I'm working on, and then just run around, get it wiped down, and then just let it dry naturally that way. And it's going to take all that all-purpose cleaner away, but I'm not putting copious amounts of water into the bay, just in case you do have anything delicate that's exposed or anything like that. And then just be methodical, work round, pick your sections. I always start top airbox, and then it's sort of down to, sort of that section, the right-hand side for me, down to sort of the air intake and so on. And then once you've done that surface part, look a bit deeper into the engine bay. You'd be amazed the difference it makes. And that's where you use your brushes. So a good wheel brush like the Cartec one I've shown you earlier, it will do a great job of getting down into all the little nooks and crannies. And you'll see here, it makes a big difference in terms of just getting that bit as far as you can reach clean. As you know, people will look down there, and if there's sort of that tide line of oil up to a point, it's going to draw the eye more so than just a completely dirty engine bay. The next tip is this: get your metal polish out. I don't understand why people don't, well, I don't really see this. I don't see people touching up these small parts in the engine bay. You're going to have some exposed metal elements. Why not have them shine? Why not have them pop? They are going to be just small little details, and it's amazing that when you don't do it, you don't really notice that they've not been done or anything like that. But when you do them, they then draw the eye, and they just give it that bit of extra pop in your engine bay, that small bit of that 1%, the thing that we're looking for in detailing. So get around with your metal polish, get everything and anything that can be cleaned up done. So, if it's a tube, a pipe, a Jubilee clip, or just, a nut on the head of the engine, do it. It will make a big difference for a small investment of time. It really is a marginal outlay. And it will just give that finishing touch, that last little piece to the puzzle. Is for me the biggest tip I could give is get the metal work done just the same, because I don't see a lot of videos. In fact, I've not seen a video where people do the engine bays where they even mention it. After you've done that, you should be in a position where things are clean and they're ready to be dressed. So again, for me, I'm out with the CarPro Pearl. It is a dilutable dressing. I've always just used it neat on the engine bay, and I just apply direct to the cloth and wipe it into the areas that do need to be dressed. And it gives me, again, it's a darkened dressed look, but it's not greasy and wet, and so that wet look shine that you can get with some dressings. But again, for me at least, it gives me the finish that I want. You may want to make your own judgments as far as your own dressings of choice. But I mean, have a look at this. You can tell it's being dressed, but it's not loud. It's not in your face. It's as close to factory slash dressed as I really want it to look. And I think it just finishes it all off nicely. Again, be methodical, work around. There's no point missing parts of this, so it's going to draw the eye if you've missed a part. But I'll always do the same, is just work around methodically. Make sure you get up onto the scuttle as much at the top that you can get as well, because again, that's part of the engine bay. Don't miss it, and kind of take care of it in other parts of your car cleaning regime, because again, it will draw the eye when that bonnet is open if you've not got to sort of all this top part here. Once all the dressing has been done, you then need to take care of the paint. So underneath my engine bay, BMW were good enough not to lacquer a bloody thing under there, which is really annoying because it means I can't really get any shine to it. Doesn't mean it shouldn't be protected though. So again, out comes the smooth velvet. If you've got a painted engine bay, again, small details like this, you may want to go the whole hog. I don't with mine because there's no point, but use, a pre-wax, get a good finish on there, then get something of a wax element on there, or a spray wax or a quick detailer. It's worth doing. And then this is basically what you're left with. Nice, crisp, clean finish, as close to factory as really I think you can get. It is, if you really stick your head into the bay, it's dirty and oily where you can't reach. And that's really my approach to cleaning an engine bay, is it is as clean as it can be as far as I can reach into that bay. So use the tools that are appropriate, that are applicable. and you'll get this finish here. And for me, it is well worth it. It doesn't take you too long, you know, all told, stick a few hours into doing your engine bay and it will look good. I've been, as I was kind of filming this, I'll be as honest as I can. You're going to see here in a second there is some rust. So just there in that mount, and you know, it just showing you this car is 15 years old at this point, so it's not perfect, but I kind of wanted to dwell on that just to show you guys that the small bits, they can get hidden in if you do the rest of it. So get 99% of it right and you're almost kind of forgiven that small detail at the end. But that's everything. Thanks very much for watching. If you've got any questions on my tips and tricks for cleaning the engine bay, shoot them below. That's the end of the detailing show, episode 2. Take care. Bye bye.